Good morning, retail traders. This is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And right now, I'm going to point out a couple chart patterns here on the SPY and one that I've been playing here recently and finding real good support levels and taking it to a higher resistance. Yesterday was another great example of what I call the Megaphone Pattern. And as you can see, I've got this set up on the 20-day 1 hour. This is the SPY. And I'm going to draw this little megaphone in here. And I've been calling this out in the room. Called the Megaphone Pattern, which you can get real good spreads with it. Once it hits resistance, it comes down and pulls back to support, bounces off the 200 on the 1 hour time frame, goes up for the third time and hits it. That's the 1, 2, 3, pulls back down and hits it again. And real good pattern to be watching right now. As we look at this pattern, it also turns into an ascending triangle, and we're going to place that in here right now. We'll change this. Well, let's go ahead and leave that the same color. So we've got it. Also, we have an ascending triangle, which I think is getting ready to break out with a 1, 2, 3. But if we pull back and hit the bottom part of this support, that'll be the 1, 2, 3 down here, and then she'll run up and break out for the fourth time. And I'm not saying it's going to do it today, but I'm telling you, the market is very bullish with a lot of these institutional traders, and they don't want to give it up to the bears. They just don't want to do it. But I'm giving you opportunity to buy the dip and get in on some real good spreads. Yesterday I called out the SPX right around 210 and 104. The 7460? Yeah, 7460 strike. And that sucker ran up. Man, that was a beautiful trade. So let's get back to the SPY. So I think today, if we don't break this triple top, we could pull back and hit the 200 on the 1 hour, and then maybe respect this here triangle, and then on the fourth time we'll bounce up and break out. Now earnings haven't been so hot so far. The banks were really bad, but I don't think they care. Like I said in earlier videos, it just takes one. If the banks are looking like 51% of them are great earnings, I mean, if the earnings are like 51% and the negativity of the bad earnings are 49, they're going to take it and run with it. Even if it's a 50-50, maybe even if it's worse, this market's very bullish. They just don't want to give this up right now. They know that the rate hike is going to come in. They overpriced it. So we're definitely overpriced in this market. So we're going to take this to show you the megaphone pattern on the daily 1 minute. Yesterday I called this trade out. We had a 1, 2, 3, and we show up the megaphone. There we go again with the same kind of pattern. Now these patterns are very profitable if you get in at the right time. I had to cost average down a little bit because I thought we had this little thing going right here with this triple bottom, and I added on. But man, what a trade it was. It ran all the way up to the top and broke that resistance. So if you pull up the 5-day, 5 minute, you can see that we already hit a resistance for the resistance of a double top on the 5-day, and that was a great exit idea. So that's the SPY. I think we're very bullish. I wanted to point out that megaphone pattern. I've been pointing it out in the room. I said, watch this pattern because this could be very profitable. You could have some real nice profit spreads on these trades. And you got to be patient. You got to be patient. Yeah, I'm scalping it within, but I'm also taking it and adding on when I see that third time it hit 1, 2, 3 bus, and I'm going to take that trade and run with it. 1, 2, 3. When I say 1, 2, 3, I'm talking about the bodies mostly have to hit the top of that candle for this thing to work. So we had one right here, and this one didn't quite touch, but she went ahead and broke on out. And I'm using this guideline right here. I'm not going about very much farther. We already had it set right here, and when she come up, she hit it for that second time, pulled back, and then boom. But I'm a knife catcher at part. I like to trade knives, catch knives, and that's what I've been doing for the last 15 years, is learning to try to buy it at support and sell it at resistance. So that's the SPY. The SPX was another great trade. I used the SPY on this chart right here, where I've got the VWAP and the RSI. The SPX doesn't show up on it. There's your VWAP. And I'll also trade off this using that VWAP chart when it comes to trading the SPX. So let's get back to the SPX here. This was yesterday's great trade. We had the same kind of pattern going on, the Megaphone Pattern. Once we broke out of this little channel, we hit the third time up here, 1, 2, 3, and went ahead and pulled back and created what you call Megaphone Pattern. And I called this out in the room. I definitely got into the trade, and I run it all the way up to the top. That's 1, 2, 3, bam. Then we created the pattern right here, and then she went ahead and broke on out. It doesn't have to start with the red. This is a bull flag, or bear flag. And you can see a continuation and going on up and hitting that resistance level. But that's your bear flag. And once we hit 1, 2, 3, she decided to go ahead and break down. And then we had a 1, 2, 3 off the megaphone, and she went ahead and run up. This was great. I didn't expect this run. I got out too soon for sure. I was really disappointed. I made good money on this trade. I did very well, but I'm saying this could have been a real nice trade. I'm not going to say how much it was. How much it was. So we're going to watch for that volatility. These guys are very bullish right now. If you pull up the yearly time frame, the weekly time frame on the 3-year, you can see that it wanted to stay above this Darvis box right here and gain respect to keep it bullish, and that's what it did. It came back and touched the 9. I talked about the 9 EMA, and then we went ahead and went back to the top of this here pattern. I'm going to get rid of that. There's your Darvis box. There's your resistance line of support once we broke out of it. So we're going to draw that in there. Right around 47.08, with the bottom part of that box being somewhere right around in there with this double top breakout. So we came back and hit that 9, and then we got us a nice big hammer right here on the weekly time frame. So it's getting ready to squeeze. I'm still not convinced. I still think we're a little overbought and we need to come down, but these guys are, I mean, I listened to them on CNBC. They just can't help but be bullish. They're shocked that we did pull back and consolidate, which I'm not, because we did hit an all-time double top high and we needed to consolidate. But man, this thing's so bullish right now. It gained respect off this Darvis box and gained respect on the 9. If it doesn't hold the 9, I'm definitely going to buy puts and hold it on back down here to this here shoulder line of this head and shoulders with a double top, and that'll be your strong support. But as of now, we got to keep with that 47.08.94 for now as a support level, and then take it on up and try to break that resistance level, which is almost to the penny, $4,800. 48 is the number. If we can build upon 48, we're going to go much higher. I've got a couple other stocks that I'm keeping a real good eye on. I missed this one. I've been calling this trade out, LLY Lilly, and I wanted to take this trade and buy put. And this week was a great time to be working that pattern because we had that pullback, and I just didn't. I traded it up in here, but I just didn't. Everything else looked like I wanted to trade it, and this one wasn't the one. I missed it. So we're definitely, that could have been another great trade. I think it's way overpriced. Now, they pumped this for like 2 weeks straight every day, just non-stop. CNBC, just non-stop, and it got under my skin. And then yesterday we pulled back and hit that 200. That would have been just a great call on a 3-day pullback, and I didn't take it. Once you have that sell-off 3 days in a row, you can start looking at a trade and maybe run it up to the upside. That's exactly what happened in the market. NVIDIA, another great run. I witnessed Miss Vegas called this out. Used to be in the room. I love stocks to 575, and she hit that target. Good job, Miss Vegas. So NVIDIA, it was the way they called it out last year. I wasn't going to accept until we broke the 500. And then when the 31st came, I said, hey, this is it. We're going to go ahead and break this resistance level. Jim Cramer, you'll get your 650 this year. United Healthcare took a beating yesterday with more concerns about the elderly getting more operations coming in. People put off operations and dealt with the pain during COVID. The elderly, the ones that don't have a real good immune system, now they're getting in there and they're getting these operations done, and it's costing them business. Same thing with Humana. I'm disappointed with Humana because they dropped my insurance plan here. Like Obama said, if you like your insurance, you can keep it. Well, that's not the case. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. That's not the case. I've switched 5 different doctors in the past since Obamacare has been took into measure. Netflix, they're pumping Netflix. We did have a 3-day pullback. We come up yesterday. I think we can go ahead and break resistance level. The pivot point on the 30-day time frame is right there, right around 485.69. If we can build respect above it, we can run this thing back up to the next resistance level. And it's kind of iffy right in here, but I'm going to go long somewhere right around the 494 area. Meta, they're pumping Meta again. It came back and hit the 200 on the 1 hour time frame, bounced up, have a 1, 2, 3. I like to see this thing pull back some and maybe catch the bounce in these moving averages off the 50 on the 1 hour time frame. That's the 50 SMA, and then run it on up and break that 1, 2, 3. Meta's definitely, 1 minute you hear this new glass thing they got, the binoculars, whatever they call it, is too expensive, and then next day they come out and say, oh, well, I'll get one, we can afford it. Anybody that has money will probably want to get this thing, and that's what this market's running off, people with money. Tesla, a lot of negativity going on here with Tesla right now. We've had a real good pullback. I traded this yesterday and got stuck, got out of the trade, had the cost average down, and I'm just kind of leery of it, but yet this is my favorite stock to trade. I want to see if we hit this 207.43 and hold that. I did have 210 from the top. I called 210. I said we're going to pull back to 210. We did the 210 yesterday, and we'll just have to see if this holds. It could be creating a head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders. So you want to draw your trend line across right there, and if we break that resistance, which is the 9 on the 1 hour time frame, I think we can run this up to 217 and have a 1, 2, 3 right here. Apple was the leader of the pack. It had 3 downgrades last week, and then all of a sudden Bank of America comes out with an upgrade. You have to question that at this time. The first thing that popped in my head, they always call this a market maker, and for the market to move, they needed to have an upgrade. And that's exactly what we called. I called the 180 down here a couple weeks ago in a video, took the trade to 200. We pulled back again. We had the snake breakout, pull back, boom. So this next resistance is going to be right around 191.42. It is the market maker, and they wanted to use this for a catapult yesterday to run the market up. Once that upgrade came in, the market flew. So that's Apple. Now it can pull back and hit the 200 and be an excellent idea to take this trade on the 1 hour time frame. I like to tell the room and people that all you need is one line to take a trade, and if you just had the 200 SMA on here, you'd be doing wonderful. Right now the market has opened. It is 3 a.m. here in Missouri, and let's see what this thing wants to do right now. This thing's very bullish. I mean, I'm not bullish on Apple. I'm just not, because it's got too much exposure to China. They're having a rough time right now. But still yet, this is the market maker, and we did have a nice run on it yesterday. And I think we're going to hit that 191 and find some kind of resistance level on it. And I think that's about it. TSM was another good catalyst yesterday off earnings. It had a nice bounce. Went all the way from 104 to 113. I do like this stock. This is a major player when it comes to chip making. And I think we still have a lot more room to go on this. It was just undervalued with all the China stuff going on in Taiwan. But once that guy was elected, this thing just shot up to the moon. So this was a great idea. Now, is it going to pull back to 104? I don't know. But this is how I would trade this. I'd set up the Fibonacci's. We have a 50% pullback, but I don't even think we'll see that. We'll set that Fibonacci right there on the breakout. I think we could probably hit that, maybe hit the 21 once the 9 fails on the 1 hour time frame. If that 9 fails, I think we can come back and hit the 21, find some support right here, right around the 110 area, and time to test that. That'll be the spot. What I say, right here, right around 110. Somewhere in this channel of support. Between 110.18 and 110.60. That's it. We'll go ahead and continue on. I wish everybody a great day. Keep an eye on them tickers. Play the ones that have cash. The market's very bullish right now. And if you trade the ones that keep getting talked about every day on CNBC, every single day for years, all you got to do is watch them. Take that 200 SMA on the 1 hour time frame, find support off of it, and then take that bounce. Retail traders, the sneaky snake trading strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And today's chart pattern was the Megaphone Pattern. And I'll send a link down below the content, and you can study the Megaphone. Have a great day.